current stages of a testnet that we are at, would it be possible for the database to not be included in it?
It has to have a database, otherwise you don't have a blockchain.
I understand, but at the current stages that is at, would a normal testnet be able to run without like the variables or like everything copied yet?
No, when they boot up a testnet in private, they just take a snapshot of Ethereum because that's how Pulsechain will be born. So they have to test that process also.
So it's first before even at the stages that it's at right now. From what the stages he's told us and it's at, it would essentially predeterminedly mean that there's already data on the chain, right?
Yeah, it's a copy of Ethereum. Fork of Ethereum.
Like, you don't have to continue. I understand. Thank you very much.
No problem. Well, I mean, any testnet Richard announces is official. There was an official private testnet. There was an official version 1, version 2, version 2B.
Like the way I put it, technically they're all official, but what I mean by like V2B it won't be the official testnet used for testnet.
No, you're misusing official.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is it, I mean, is like V3 is like the third, well, really like the fourth testnet, but.
It will be the most realized testnet, let's say.
It'll be V3 should be the long-term testnet that runs parallel to mainnet.
I understand.
Until that testnet is no longer useful, and then they will deploy another testnet for whatever reason. It happens on Ethereum all the time.
So let me summarize from Gamma so everybody understands. Newsflash: water is wet and ice is cold. Leave him alone. It's going to be what it is. It's a V3, which is a testnet, which will be running in parallel, so that it's like when bug fixes need to be tested on something. I imagine that'll be running in parallel. Is that what that means, Gamma?
Yes.
Good like summary. In a secure operations center, if they get an attack and they need to go and reverse engineer something, they have a constant image that's running in the background that's not on their main network. So they have like a duplicate of their network running in parallel. So before the exploit, they can go back and see how it affected it, just to compare. That's what this testnet is going to be from now on. It's going to be encapsulated on the shelf. Yes. In case they got to go back to it, they can go back to it. That's it.
Not really. I mean, that's not technically correct. The code is the same, but the database is different.
Oh, okay.
Right. These transactions are running independent on testnet. And then mainnet, obviously, that's where the actual value is. But the code itself, the code changes happen on testnet first, and then they go to mainnet, and then that's kind of just how it works.
Right. So they spin. I understand. So it's a staging network then. A staging image. Is that more accurate?
Yeah, it's a staging network for code changes. That's the usefulness of testnet.
Fuck, bro, this guy's crazy. He's intelligent.
Dude, a lot of people with no money invested in his projects are now fucking rich. It's not about rich people.
100%, 100%. But he's trying to target different type of audiences. I'm talking about how he was buying expensive things to prove to the rich people that he's capable of also becoming rich, is what I'm trying to say. So then it just promotes, people look at it and they get fascinated from all this shit.
Not only does he have the marketing genius to do it, he has the fucking heart to go, no pun intended, to go around the fucking world looking like a clown,
exactly.
Multiple different phrases just for the community.
Exactly.
For us. And we want to dog that motherfucker. I thank the man every day I wake up. No, not because he made me a lot of fucking money. That doesn't mean shit. Just the fact that man, he's sacrificing his fucking life for me, for the better good, for all of us. And how dare anybody?
The message, not the man, and that's the most important thing. Secondly, at the first Hex convention, I said he's playing StarCraft with finance. And that's exactly what he's doing. Though he demonized games for a long time, though that I'm the game dev guy of our community, but now he only says grinder games are bad, which he is absolutely correct. A story is what a real game is, and that's why he wrote the book, How to Heal the World, Sci-Vive, to tell a story for you to be your own story.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, honestly, bro, if I look at Richard Hart, I could see he accomplished lots of things in his life.
But he wants you to accomplish his own things in your own life. That's the same parable. It's the same Occam's razor of the same problem. He wants other people to do the same thing that he does. He wants to inspire to change the world. And that's what all of us should do.
Oh, yeah. You have a benevolent leader who's fearless, whose end goal is to never die, and will do anything to get there.
Listen, I like his confidence. I agree, and I like his confidence. Remember when he used to host these AMAs before Hex became popular, and he would always do these streams, these live streams,
Of course.
He would face the people that were talking shit to him, and he would tell them off. He would tell them exactly what they had to fucking hear. Because at the end of the day, he was facing them, and he was telling them you were in the wrong, and that's it. That's what I like about him, is that he's straightforward. He knows his shit. He's not going to hide around the bullshit.
Yep, and he'll expose any scammer along the way. That's why when I hear someone call him a scammer, it just makes my blood boil.
Backstory of the guy that was like, hey, wait a minute, Hex and Pulsechain is actually legit. My conversation today, he said, like, his main point was like, you know what, I watched back some of the streams of RH talking about Celsius was going to get robbed. Take your money off. Be more like, DeFi. Just look after your keys. And his point was like, he was spitting truths, and that is worth billions and billions of dollars.
Right it is. You're goddamn right it is.
Exactly.
He did it. Richard was so quick with it. It looked like it was staged. It looked like it was set up that way. But I sat there and watched the motherfucker live, so I know it's not. So I can test to that. That's how I know. That's what makes me feel good. It's like I watched them call out that motherfucker a year in advance. Boom. Next guy. Boom. All the way down the line. And they still don't want to give him respect.
It's because some people couldn't take him seriously. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I know. But I'm saying there should be a lineup around this fucking country.
Yeah, but they didn't
stand and apologize.
They didn't take him seriously when he was dressed in a fucking goth outfit in his chair with a top hat. And so he went radical to now pivot back to who he is, which is actually smart as fuck. The difference is that he tried to be meek. He tried to change the world, and then nobody listened. And he got pissed after screaming at the wall and nobody listening. So then he threw his big peepee and bought a big peepee car and all the rest of that goddamn shit. And now he's pivoting, actually at the exact right time with the SEC and the nonsense or all the rest is, to go back to the core components after getting the flash fire of what it is. It's actually really, really smart.
Mm-hmm. It is almost like the stars and moons align, but he made them align the way he did it, and come in complete circle like that. And it could. Oh geez. The next. I think Christmas 2025. It's going to be a good time, good Christmas. Just because of things are going to be clicking. I think at pretty high rate at that point in time, and I think all of us are going to be there. If you're here now, you're going to be there then, because we're just taking off. So
it's also a perfect storm, right? Without the vid, there would be no really viral people talking about it. Perfect storms are important. It is all the stars align is the old term.
This community does so much shit. Even the old fucking guys, they made billions of dollars. That doesn't matter. They still get out there and they're behind the scenes. They just don't need to be heard like a lot of the younger kids. Like they need to be number one all the time. They need to be heard. Then it's just not that way. That's why they don't hear much about it. But they put in, they donate, fucking run their back. A lot of the younger people in this community. I mean, you're not going to find that anywhere else, and that is so much. That's value, big time value.
The biggest thing that I took away from my conversation today with this guy that has quite a lot of money to put into Hex and Pulsechain and stuff, and he's like come around. I've been like chipping away at him for like 3 years, and he's like, okay, I get it. I know he's not a scammer. I know this community is amazing. He's like one of those bros that's like waiting for like a bigger Bitcoin dip, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking unload the truck at whatever 1 or 2 cents. I'm like, fucking good luck with that, bro. Either which way, the one thing that comes out of it is that he's aware that when Pulsechain launches, just before like V3 testnet, that Hex is going to rock it, and we all know it's going to. And I'm like, why the fuck are you waiting around right now to like catch a bottom of the bear when you know that you got a winner right here? And he couldn't answer that question. Interesting thing he said was like, I'm fully aware that when V3 comes out, like he's like, I'm going to buy a massive bag of Hex because I know that's going to go up and be doubled and be transient. I'm like, yes, you totally get it, but you're waiting too long. Like, you don't know when V3 is going to come out or when the snapshot is going to happen.
And I'll be honest, Yeah, I mean, we hear about V3 coming out, and that's true. But V3 can be mainnet. That's a Richard move.
Immediately can be mainnet. However,
That,
you should battle hard, but that's why you have a private
I would
testnet,
not.
not a
Yeah, I would
public.
not put that past them once whatsoever. You know.
Nope. No, agreed. The only thing he does need is to give the other protocols time to work, but he could launch.
I would not be shocked if that happened, and that's just going to take a lot of people out. And I love it. But that's Richard. You see all this stuff, and everyone's like, he's going to do this. Guarantee you, after that day, or so after launch, something is going to be done that you didn't hear anybody say.
Yo, it seems like the snapshot it might be already in for V3. I'm assuming when it's time to go to mainnet, they're going to do that resync all over again, right?
They'll deploy a totally different block height and then stand up a totally new network for mainnet versus V3 testnet.
So the things that we do, the transactions we make now, like during the V3 era, will also be copied over, assuming to mainnet.
No, that's not how it works. We're copying Ethereum mainnet. We're not copying Ethereum mainnet to V3 and then V3 mainnet, V3 to testnet to mainnet. We're copying Ethereum mainnet right now to V3 testnet at some block height. We don't know the number. And then later on, after mainnet Pulsechain is going to happen, they find a newer current block height and they copy Ethereum mainnet for mainnet, Ethereum mainnet for Pulse mainnet. And then if you're thinking about being a validator, then there's also a thing called Teller oracles, which is going to be a thing on Pulsechain, native Teller oracles to report pricing for liquid loans, Power City, probably like fiat. There's these programs, these applications that are on Pulsechain that are financial applications. They're going to need that Oracle service. So I'm also going to be doing videos on that because it's a thing on Pulsechain, native to Pulsechain. If you guys weren't aware, Teller, which is an Oracle service similar to the Chainlink, is being forked over to Pulsechain, rebranded with a different name, a different token symbol, and so they're launching on Pulsechain. So Pulsechain will be the only EVM, like current EVM, right? We have ETH POW, ETH Fair, Palm chains, like these other EVM chains that belong from the bear market we know about. As far as I'm aware, though none of those have a native Oracle service that's launching on them. We do. Like all the other things we're doing other than, that those chains are not doing, we're also doing that, but that will require people to run Teller reporters. So, right, because we don't want it centralized, we want it decentralized, similar to how we want validators to be decentralized and you to run those in your house. Maybe you'd want to run a Teller reporter, stake some Teller, whatever that token is called, and then earn fees on helping these applications that we're all going to use on Pulsechain have reliable price feeds so that they function correctly.
I would, as someone that's a student loan $250,000 debt slave that works 80 hours a week, would not do shit in the beginning. It's too fucking risky. Or if you're going to do something, use stingers and use very, very, very small movements to ensure you do not get fucked.
I know you don't speak too highly of the ratio days, okay?
Well, no, it depends. I'm trying to advise
in terms of risk, but I understand that, and that's good.
To pay that loan.
You're so intricate with so many other elements of your widespread, investment and risk tolerance. You'll go all of that, but when it comes down to the ratios, that's just two coins, 50-50, no dollars. It's ratio. I never understood why that was so risky in your mind compared to the other shit you do, which
the whole thing is that for me, I already have my bags packed. I ain't touching those bags. Now, is there something I will pre-bridge ratio trade? Yeah, I'm not sharing that. It's not what you fucking people are trying to do because everyone's going to go after the fucking straw. They're playing duck, duck, goose. Those people did not do that. No, pick your bag. And if you didn't get into the Pulsex sack, you didn't get into the fucking Pulsec, buy your hex. You know where all of the mastery comes from, the teacher. And can you take a chance at playing craft? Sure, you can. I know what I'm going to pre-bridge trade for, and it will be not anything's thinking of. And I even know how to have the hooks and mechanics to make what it happens work on that chain. But for anyone else, that wants to come and be like, I got kicked in the dick with a brick, help. Like I would advise to not.
The
What
best
is
thing for everybody is to wait the first week and just watch.
Well, yeah, but the DJs are going to DJ. What I want is those that are not complete suicidal DJ warriors that are listening to other people's advice is to have a sense of fucking reason that someone that can speak on complex levels ad nauseum on command for anything to be like, if you got in at all and you don't have as much pulse as you got Pulsex, chill, honey bunny.
Because the main thing you don't want to mess up on is the bridge. So if you try and bridge, I just wait until the official bridge comes out.
I ain't doing shit bridged.
Fuck the bridge.
There's a couple things I will do pre-bridge, but that's not no one's knowledge. But the people that are trading pre-bridge, they're trading ratios for ratios on ratios. Again, none of those ratios are actually bonded to a T-share. Liquid Hex is as valuable as a Lamborghini that has water in its gas tank, no fucking battery, and fucking no tires. If
You
a
said Liquid
Lamborghini
Hex.
can't... What's that?
Liquid Hex, you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, a Lamborghini that can't go vroom vroom, what the fuck is purpose is it? A Lamborghini with no gas in its gas tank with water in there, no battery, and no tires still is a speculative asset, isn't it? It can go up and down.
Yeah, but
I thought the whole purpose of a Lamborghini is to go vroom vroom and show your big pee-pee.
Right.
So that means you're not using the mechanics for what they're forward-facing for.
What would you do with the Liquid Hex then?
I mean, you should always have a bag of Liquid Hex, but the thing is that Liquid Hex only purpose is to access the T-share train. After you have the T-share train, then you deal with all the rest of the mechanics.
Right.
All of the pumpamentals happen when you stake, not before that. And so the only people that are looking to pre-bridge trade are trading ratios. The only ratio that will be consistent is the T-share. Because if you lock in that T-share rate at fork, both of those ratios are the same. Then those ratios will channel in different means based on different ratios of trading and or ability of what people use cases and or utility based on time.
But that bridge isn't going to be there for ratios.
I totally agree. I'm gonna start like staking like massive liquid bags of hex on the Pulse chain, but not on the East chain.
Sure. No, that's good. I mean, if you're holding your liquid hex for that, unfortunately, two of my onboards, which one of them is the art director for Diablo, associate art director for Diablo, and I told him, don't do shit, because 4 more weeks. How long that been? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay his 10% of what he would have staking out of my pocket, because I told him to do it, and I take care of my fucking onboards. However, none of my onboards are allowed to fucking listen to me on stream. Difference is you could be waiting an infinite number of time for that. Unfortunately, I gave my own personal Ivy League onboards to people that are like really, really big at what they do that trusted me that advice. Hence, a year and a half later, I'm going to take care of my people. Do I need to do that? No. But I've still I've sponsored 19 different single struggling families that are single mothers or single fathers. So their kids, when they turn 18, their house is paid for, the car is paid for, their college is paid for. And I'm a student loan debt slave still.
I respect that crypto Kool-Aid. I respect that.
That's what we do. That's what we do. That's why we're fucking here.